with me.
Jehovah wants you and me to have friends. But the question you need to ask yourself is, who should be my friend?
Jeremiah spoke with boldness.
Dad, when can I be a publisher?
First, do you obey Jehovah?
Dad, why don't we celebrate a birthday?
Wanted Jehovah's friend.
You remember, if Jesus celebrated his birthday?
No.
I'm so proud of
Hate
you,
it.
son.
Imagine this, a child sitting innocently watching a cartoon and they begin to love it. It may look harmless, but what's really happening? Behind these colorful animations and catchy songs lies something far more disturbing than meets the eye. As a former Jehovah's Witness and currently a dad, I've seen firsthand how these cartoons are used to manipulate children. Hi, my name is Lewis, formerly known as MJ. Welcome to the show, and in today's mystery, we're exposing the twisted reality behind what's supposed to be innocent entertainment, behind JW cartoons and how it's causing your children to live in fear. Stay tuned till the end because we're going to talk about how one of these videos are actually so bad that it teaches your kids to enjoy murder. Chapter 1, Caleb and Sophia. The rise of this cartoon was no accident. The governing body knew that the younger generation needed something specific to capture their attention. So in 2012, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses released their new cartoon, Become Jehovah's Friend.
Hence, it's my privilege on behalf of the governing body to introduce to you a new animated video series entitled Become Jehovah's Friend.
This was a seemingly innocent series featuring Caleb and Sophia, two kids learning how to please Jehovah, guided by their strict, devout parents, and every mistake the kids make is met with the lesson, be perfect for Jehovah. But here's the dark part. It's not just a cute cartoon, it's a tool. A tool to train kids to obey, whether that's giving up their dreams and desires to give their all to the organization instead, or giving up their possessions like trashing toys tied to magic.
Caleb, who likes magic? Jehovah or Satan?
Satan.
Right. Magic is bad. That's why Jehovah hates it. Do you really want to play with something that Jehovah hates? Caleb, I am so proud of you. You made Mommy very happy. And you know who else is happy?
Jehovah.
Yes.
The more kids watch these videos, the more kids start to believe in these unwritten rules, believing that breaking them equals sin. Chapter 2, the intent behind the cartoons. Jehovah's Witnesses see Jehovah as the Almighty God, creator of the universe, who despises magic, disobedience, and worship of other gods. Failing to follow his commands risk losing his favor, facing punishment, and being disfellowshipped, which jeopardizes eternal life in paradise. This emphasis on obedience overlooks God's true nature of love, revealing how these cartoons are crafted to manipulate and control children who don't know any better. So what's the real purpose behind these cartoons? It's simple: training. It's a series of videos designed to train kids to be a good Jehovah's Witness, perfect in their ways, to work their way up to becoming recruiters, and they do this by teaching them to fear disobeying Jehovah, to follow the rules without question, and to police their own actions in line with what the governing body says, even though they mask it by saying, it's what would make Jehovah God happy. Even something as normal as having friends outside the organization is portrayed as a dangerous threat to their spiritual safety. In this cartoon, however, Sophia does end up becoming friends with a classmate after Sophia is seemingly bullied by another classmate. The intentions are to simply indoctrinate her new friend as well, teaching kids that Jehovah's Witnesses get picked on because they have the absolute truth. By watching Sophia eventually teach her new friend about Jehovah and take studies with her, this encourages kids to be teachers at such a young age, recruiting anyone any chance they get. So the Watchtower strategy is clear. Create content that looks harmless but indoctrinates children into a mindset of total obedience. It conditions kids at such a young age to understand fear of making Jehovah sad or even angry. and feeling his wrath in Armageddon, which any true Bible reader knows Armageddon is not what the Jehovah's Witnesses teach. By getting them when they're young, they'll grow into adults who are too afraid to leave or question anything. But how do former Jehovah's Witness parents feel about these videos? Chapter 3. Former Jehovah's Witness parents speak out. On Reddit, former Jehovah's Witness parents are speaking out. One parent wrote, "I left the organization, but my kids were already hooked on Caleb and Sophia. It's taken a lot of work to undo the damage those cartoons did. They made my kids feel guilty for being normal, curious children." Another parent shared, "These cartoons terrified my kids. They thought that if they didn't do everything right, they'd lose their family in Armageddon. No child should carry that kind of fear." A former Jehovah's Witness expresses her experience as a kid watching these videos, especially the ones that condemned children for eating birthday cakes and celebrating Christmas. "I hated that living as a JW was so hard. I felt God was going to murder me because I secretly dreaded meetings and service and was jealous of worldly kids getting Christmas presents. I turned that anger on myself very young. I began partaking in the cupcakes at school birthday parties and began standing for the flag salute so I wouldn't stand out. I just accepted that I was going to die in a few years but was going to live how I want. I grew up believing I would be dead by 15 from Armageddon. It's sad that my entire childhood was filled with terror over a freaking cupcake and wanting presents on Christmas." This is the real harm, children internalizing fear, guilt, and shame over basic human experiences. Former Witness parents are seeing the emotional and mental toll these cartoons have taken on their kids, being molded into loyal followers before they even know how to think for themselves. The Watchtower Society understands that if you can control the children, you can control future generations. Chapter 4. Learning from the Best. Fast forward to today, parents have a new show to worry about, Learning from Jehovah's Friends, a series focused on Bible stories and Jehovah's Witness role models, which started already this year, 2024. This series features a character of what feels like a modern-day Jiminy Cricket, who searches through JW doctrine, aka their version of the Bible, to tell stories. He's more of a narrator than a protagonist, a storyteller if you will. The 2D animation combined with stop motion makes it just as addicting as the Lego movie for kids to watch. Harmless on the surface, but it hides a much deeper message. Learning from Jehovah's Friends follows the same formula, colorful visuals and catchy songs. The characters feel relatable to children, all while reinforcing the organization's teachings. These characters aren't just biblical role models, they're spiritual enforcers, showing kids that questioning Jehovah or the organization's interpretation of the Bible could lead to punishment or disfellowshipping, keeping the intentions behind their first cartoon strong. This is how the organization maintains control, by presenting biblical figures as perfect examples, conditioning children into loyalty and obedience. But these two shows aren't the only issue. Their musical videos play a huge role in pulling kids into the faith with catchy tunes. Kids become too attached, and some may experience withdrawal. My own son still, to this day, has a hard time sleeping if he doesn't listen to one of these songs, or he'll have anxiety, and he's only 7 years old. It's tough, but that does not compare to the song that I'm about to show you that teaches your kids to literally enjoy murder. A nightmare for most, but a dream for the faithful. Musical videos for children were introduced in 2015 alongside the Caleb and Sophia series, but one stands out as particularly disturbing. Can't Wait for the Convention. In this song, kids sing about their excitement for the upcoming convention. But if you don't know what a convention means for a Jehovah's Witness, let me explain. For JW families, conventions are like a holiday, but not in the usual sense. While most kids look forward to holidays for fun and family time, JW families anticipate conventions as a chance to learn more about being a good witness. These events last about 10 hours a day for 3 consecutive days a year. They include lectures, video dramas, and baptism ceremonies. You're expected to take notes during the convention as a study guide for follow-up questions during the regular meetings. Children especially are expected to take notes as well. That certainly was not fun, but here the kids look like they're enjoying it. What was fun were the video dramas, which have now become movie series. I'm not gonna lie, that was my favorite part when I attended these conventions as a kid. And back then, they were live action plays. The only exception to growing your beard was in preparation for the role you would play in these dramas. Times were very different. Leave a comment below if you also looked forward to these dramas back then. Now, in Can't Wait for the Convention, the song presents the convention as an exciting event for kids, but if you look closely at their notes, you'll notice disturbing imagery, stick figures representing dead bodies, and scenes that resemble Armageddon. This isn't just a fun song, it subtly introduces children to the idea of a violent end, normalizing death and destruction. When pausing the video, what is shown are plants with human faces and a bird nearby, which might seem like a nod to the parable of the sower in Matthew 13, where Jesus uses seeds and soil to explain how people receive and respond to God's message. However, given the Watchtower's history of subliminal messaging, this imagery feels more like a hidden reference to Armageddon and the destruction of non-believers. The darker implications are hard to miss, especially considering this scene is only 2 seconds long. Too quick to hint this on the parable, especially for children and especially for me.
Don't you agree? Why don't you take a seat right next to me? We're taking notes. And singing songs. We have the same hope. That's why we get along.
When I was a Jehovah's Witness growing up, I was taught that crows would feed on the bodies of those who didn't belong to Jehovah's organization on the day of Armageddon, an unwritten rule that every JW child growing up knows about. Comment below if this was you. This eerie concept is reflected in the children's drawings, where you can't help to think otherwise because they go as far as to paint disturbing faces on these plants. The excitement on these two girls' faces only makes this more disturbing to depict children excited to be part of this organization, reinforcing fear of the grim fate that awaits those outside the faith. These musical videos serve as a powerful tool for indoctrination, wrapping terrifying concepts in cheerful melodies, ensuring that the organization's teachings are deeply ingrained from an early age. Now, just imagine being a child singing along about the destruction of those who don't believe. Finally, there is something worth mentioning. Sometimes these music videos can be a real head scratcher, particularly this one, encouraging kids to believe it's okay to roam free and talk to strangers. It starts off with a little girl walking outside her front door into the streets, eventually meeting up with other children who have done the same. One scene stands out as especially unsettling, where a child is left alone on a playground far from her mom, making him an easy target for predators. This teaches kids that this is okay. This is clearly intentional, as even the dog seems aware of what's happening. Another detail I noticed is that the mom is being distracted by a Jehovah's Witness who is preaching to her, evidently neglecting the child, while her kids are also trying to distract the dog from watching over the child. This feels wrong on so many levels, as if it was all carefully planned. It suggests that putting in the time and effort to preach is being prioritized over basic concerns, like the safety of children. How do you think a child would interpret this scenario? Conclusion. Parents, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, ask yourself, what are your children really learning from these cartoons? And if you're someone on the outside looking in, then now you know the truth behind the facade of wholesome content. So would you let them watch this? This isn't just an animation, it's indoctrination disguised as entertainment. Are you determined to give your child the life they deserve? One they can build real friendships, think for themselves, and live without fear? Or will you let these videos shape them into followers who obey every order, choosing the organization over their own family? Imagine waking up from this control only to have your child turn away from you, driven by fear of a made-up Armageddon. How would you handle that? You guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my first attempt at giving you an educational video, both inspiring and thought-provoking, with a new way of editing. Don't forget to show your appreciation by hitting that like button, subscribe, and share if you want more truth revealed about the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's been a long journey of self-discovery for me, and I finally found my calling. Until next time, I'm MJ. Take care, stay safe, and remember, you can't make any of this up. See you in the next one.